Students, this is a continuation of the previous video, and here we are going to discuss the types of migration. So as you all know now, the meaning of migration, the person, if they are moving from one place or one country to the other country, then that is called a migration. And here we are going to see some particular types of migration. So what are the types it can be? The first one is immigration. So immigration also just we discussed. Immigration means if the person is totally leaving that particular country, okay, internationally, if they are moving from one place to the another place, then that is called immigration. If for example to our India, if some foreigners are coming to our India, then that is called, they are completely crossing a countries, right? So that is called immigration. So they are coming for any kind of reason, for studies or for job, just as a tourist, or so it can be anything. So immigration means just the opposite. If we are going away from our country, then that is called emigration, and we are called emigrants. So this is also for any reason we are going away from our country for study purpose or for job or for anything it can be. And this is what the two different types of migration. And now we will see both immigration and migrations or acts as a migration across national boundaries. So here are some examples given. Some Irish people, so they started to go to US country. So those Irish people, why do they want to go to US, United States? Because for the famine. Famine means the person who cannot who's not having a proper resource, so there is nothing to eat, so lot of drought happened. So these kind of things are generally called famine. And if you see some other example, so some people, they left Ireland during the famine, were referred to as the immigrants by the people left behind in Ireland. So the Ireland people who is going away from Ireland, they are called emigrants. And who is going inside to the US, US will welcome them as a immigrant. Understand? So here the difference, there are number of difference, the number of immigrants and immigrants gives the migration balance. So if in a country so many immigrants and immigrants are happening, so how the balance is happening, so that we will see here. Jamaica has a net migration loss because it has lost more people through immigration than it gained through the immigration. If you see, Jamaica is the one country in African continent. So Jamaica is not a very developed country. So that is a completely underdeveloped, very poor country. So these Jamaicans, they are not ready to live in their own country itself. So they wants to move to other country, that is to the Hong Kong. So there is another example given in this paragraph, that is during the 19th century, many people moved to different countries for colonizing new areas. So they include pilgrims who sailed to New England on the east coast of America. Similarly, white Europeans moved to South Africa to set up, manage gold mines and sugar plantations. So like that, during 19th century also, some people who started to move from their own original country to the destined country for their job purpose. So like that, this is called the emigration and immigration. So now we will see the third type of migration, that is called domestic or internal, which means within a country itself. For example, you people, after completion of your standard 10, you'll be moving to some other states, or maybe you will be living in the same state, for example from Joda to Bhubaneswar, or from Bhubaneswar to some other states, very well metro cities of our India itself. So this is called domestic or internal. Within a country itself, if you are planning to migrate yourself, then that is called a domestic or internal migration. So this is also for the same thing, for your better education or for the job opportunities or for the different types of lifestyle purpose. So these are the internal migration. So one is to settle down permanently in the urban area of their choice, and the other one, the migrant has a rural base and he can migrate repeatedly or different durations. So in India, rural to urban and urban to rural migrant is very important. In India, you know very well, so from village to cities and city to village, that is very frequently things are happening like that. So this is not any temporary, permanent, sorry, this is not a permanent basis. People will go to cities, people will go to villages as per their wish. So this is not a permanent. So in India, that is very frequent and very often it is happening. And generally, if you see most of the villagers, they are living in a rural area. They are not ready to live in the same rural area for their future purpose. So for their future development, they want to live in some city regions, something like Mumbai, Bangalore, Delhi, Chennai, and these are the examples. So now if you see the next type of migration, that is called urban to urban migration. Urban means, as I said already, city, completely well developed city. So already people are living in a city itself, but again, why do they want to leave that particular city to live to the other country? Sorry, other city means maybe they are not happy with some kind of tradition which is happening in that particular state. So that is the reason people, they may are not interested to live in the same city. So these are the other reasons. So this refers to the changes of residence within the national boundary, within a country itself, one particular city to the another particular city. So here there is an example from US. US means it's a United States. Canada, it's a other country in the North America. So within the North American, two different countries are having immigrants and immigrants in every year very frequently. So this is a picture of migration from urban to urban. So there is another examples just like that, that is urban to urban. In the early 20th century, people began to move from the countryside to the rural areas to the towns. So this is thing like from the rural area to the township areas. So for example, here if you see Nigeria, Nigeria is one particular place of Africa. So that Nigeria and all, it is not 100% developed city and all. So people always they wants to live a better lifestyle, because they wants to live in some industrialized areas. So if they are living in some industrialized area, they will be earning more money, more economically they'll become they'll be improving. So that is the reason people, they wants to improve their lifestyle by moving from one place to the other place, and very particularly from the rural region to urban region. So the next type, if you see, international or external migration. So this is just opposite of the internal migration. Within a country, if you are traveling, then that is called domestic, and when it is comes under the international, one country to the another country, or one continent to the another continent entirely. Okay, so we are Asian people. Suppose if from India, if you are moving to any other country like Japan, so these kind of traveling means that is within the continent itself. Then anyhow, that is also comes under international. But suppose if you are planning to go to Dubai, or sorry, to Australia, or North America, or London, so these kind of countries are totally crossing the entire continent itself. So that's all comes under the international or external migrations. So here are some examples given from Asia to Africa, so India to America, just like that. So this kind of migration, it will happen either permanently or temporarily according to your purpose. Okay, so now we will see the next one, the impact of migration. So students, now you must have understood what is called migration and the types of migration. So what is the final thing? Once the migration, whatever the migration process, it can be permanent or temporary, whatever, but what is the final result? So if migration is keep on happening just like that, so what is the result? So we are going to have a positive and negative, two different types of impact we are going to discuss. The first one we will see, as more and more immigrants enter the country, less jobs are open to the American citizens. So here what they are saying is, as we all know already, so number of people are wanted to live only in the US countries. So United States, they wants to go. So as we all know already, US means it's a country which is developed already in very various fields. So number of fields it has been developed, and the country is really having a financially they are they are in a different level compared to all other countries. So that is why people are wanted to leave. They wants to boost up their financial status by working in that US countries. So that is the reason they wants to live there. But finally US country people, they are not so comfortable to receive number of people from the various countries. So this is the reason some countries are restricting the other country people to enter in their country. So now we are going to discuss some disadvantages and advantages of the migration in the destination country. Destination country means here, let us consider an example. You are planning to leave the country of India. So being an Indian, you want to leave an India. So where you are going to settle down? For example, you are planning to settle down in US. So that US is your destination countries. So now we will see what are the advantages and disadvantages if you want to settle down in other country from India. So now let us see only the advantages first. Cheap labors. So for example, you are not a proper qualified person. So you do not have any proper qualification. So but if you get a chance to work in US, so with low knowledge, you can work in any kind of low category job, unskilled jobs with a very low wages. Day by day salary they will give you, the day by day wages. So you will be working in a different places, different jobs. Definitely you will earn lot of money. That all comes under advantage. Skilled labor. Maybe you are a very skilled in one particular field. So using your particular talent and skill, you can get a good job and good knowledge. I mean a good salary. Definitely that will improve your financial status. And the next thing is cultural diversity. So being an Indian, if you're living in US for a few months or at least for a year, so definitely you will understand what is their lifestyle and their tradition. So definitely you will be appreciating their tradition and their food style, lifestyle and everything. So in this way you will be learning a lot of good things living in their country. So that's all comes under advantages. And now let us see the disadvantage. So disadvantage means you are an Indian and living in US. So what kind of disadvantages you will feel? You will face job loss. Locals often lose jobs to incoming workers. So you are an Indian, but presently you are living in US. So those distant country will be having lot of problem in their local people. So those local people who born and brought up in US itself, just because of you people, they are not receiving a proper job. So job loss will happen definitely. And discrimination and racism. So discrimination and racism means some controversial things regarding your caste, religion and your color. So these kind of things it will happen. Language wise, if you are not able to speak their own language, definitely they will make fun of you and they will not accept you in their group. So these kind of things, some negativity it will happen. So this is all comes under uh, disadvantages. The next thing is social pressure. The social pressure is nothing but, definitely if lot of people are living in a single location itself, then everything whatever you are trying to buy, everything the cost will be more and more due to the excess of people living there. So excess of demand will be there. So just imagine in a city number of people are living, so number of people they all wants to stay in some place. So the hostels or a building or a home, whatever you are trying to find, everything will be in a demand. So you have to pay more. So this is all comes under the social pressure. And breakdown of culture and tradition. So just we discussed the positivity of learning a good tradition of their local formalities. At the same time, you are an Indian and you will be introducing your rules and regulations and you will be following your own tradition and culture in that US country. So maybe they will be having some breakdowns in their rituals, something, some kind of misunderstanding, definitely it will happen. So these kind of misunderstanding will create some problems according to the people wise, so in the local areas. So these kind of things will happen definitely. The last thing is disease. So the disease is nothing but, as you all know, the present situation. So one person is getting some disease in one country. So if you move to the other country, definitely you will be spreading the same disease to many people, the most innocent unknown people. So in this way, some disadvantages will happen if a person is moving and living in an other country. Okay students, and now we will see the home country. So I am an Indian. So I mean, as I said before, you are an Indian, and you are not presently living in our India. So when you leave our country, so what are the home country's advantages and disadvantages? Understand, you are an Indian, but presently you are not living in India. You are in some other country, somewhere else. But when you're not here in your country, so what are the advantages and disadvantages to your home country? Remittance, which means, as I said already, the lot of amount you can send to your home people. So maybe you are working in US country and you are earning lot of money, salary. So you'll be sending a good salary to support your family who is living in your home country. Better job opportunities for the locals. So imagine, in our India, the now presently 1.3 billions of people. So around 50% of people are not here because they all went away from our country. So definitely local people, whoever is presently living in our India itself, they will be getting a good job opportunities in India itself. So this is called an advantage. Knowledge and skill flow. So as the second point, here also the same thing. So knowledge and skill, people can definitely learn a new thing and it will be spreading to a different people very easily. So these kind of some new ideas, new schools, new skills and ability, it will be spreading to different people, and they will be learning a new knowledge, and this will help them to create their own business in our own country itself because of very less population. And now let us see the disadvantages. So you are an Indian, you are not here in our India. Lot of people are not in India now. So when people are not here, what is the disadvantages? Loss of skilled laborers. Okay. So this is the first very important disadvantage point. Some brilliant people, very highly qualified and skilled people, if they are not interested to live in our India presently, so our India will face lot of down in the financial, and industrialization will not improve. So a lot of problems will happen because all the qualified engineers, doctors, nurses and business people, if they are not ready to live in our India, a lot of failures we have to face. So that is what the problem of our own country. And fall in demand for the home goods. So definitely, so our Indian made products, nobody will be interested to purchase because the foreigners will use their own products. So as more and more people migrate, the population might decrease. As a result, the demand for goods and service may also decrease. So our Indian made products or whatever is presently there in our India, nobody will be, I mean, people will be using it for a low price. So naturally the financial status will come down. And social impact. So for example, in your family, your father or your most closed one, they are going away from our country, so you will be missing them definitely. Some mental and physical connections will not be there. So these kind of things, it will happen. So our relationship will get breakdown. So these kind of things will happen. That is definitely one of the major suffering of our home country people. So that migration, it can happen temporary or permanently, because if they are going just for the studies, definitely they'll go and complete their studies and they will be coming back. Suppose if they are going for a job, they will be working there for some years and again they will be coming back. So here these are the two different paragraphs given with some examples. So most of the countries are going away from their own country for their temporary purpose. They will be working or they will be studying, and after that they'll return back to their original country. So these are some examples given here. And after some years, so this paragraph is very important. If you see, in United States, they are receiving a number of immigrants. So United States, as you all know, it's a very developed country. They are receiving number of immigrants. And during 19th and 20th century, the migration from Europe brought about 41 millions of people to North America. So number of Europeans started to go to North America. The main reason behind it was the economic depression in the rural areas of Northern Europe. So Northern Europe people are not very well in financial status, so they wants to earn some money, so they are planning to go to US. And at first migrants were allowed to the whole continent was to be opened up. So we people are having a full freedom, we can move to any countries in the world. But here what happens, we people are planning to go to different countries like a US. So US, what they finally planned, they started restricting any kind of immigrants to US people. So finally some people they started to enter US illegally. So just like that, you see, they are crossing their border and they are jumping without anybody's approval. So these kind of illegal entries started to happen. So these kind of things or disadvantages. So Australia is also one of the other country who welcomes Europeans most of the time. And finally, Australia is one of the underpopulated. Very less people are living, and very less skilled employees also. They started welcoming many people. And if you see here, most of the countries are not ready to receive a different other countries people, just because if other country people comes to our own country, so they will use their resources. So in that scariness, people are not ready to receive anybody from the other country. So this is all happened started in the earlier time of 20th century. And here also one example given. So some forcefully migration also has started happening in our India. For example, after 1947 of our Indian freedom, so our Indian Muslims started going back to Pakistan, and Hindus and Sikhs, they started coming back from Pakistan to India. So these kind of migration are called forceful migration. And these rural urban migrations in India, it is all happening based on some factors, that is marriage, employment, education, lack of securities. So India has the highest number of immigrants. This is one of the most we should not be proud about this point. We are having number of immigrants, which means most of the Indians are not ready to live in our India itself because of very less payment or very less medical advancement or very less good institutions, just like that. And here if you see two main common patterns, that is mainly to the industrialized countries, particular to the UK, US, Canada and Australia. And apart from these, some oil rich countries, some Middle East countries, so they people are interested to go there. Okay students, and now we are going to see the brain drain, which is most important point of the entire lesson. Brain means knowledge, drain means reducing. So number of skillful people of one country are not ready to live in their own country itself. They started to move away from their original country. So this is called a brain drain. Understand? Some skillful, highly qualified people, they are no more ready to live in their own home country. They are looking for the better opportunities and better institutions and everything. So this is called a brain drain. And if you see here, most of the highly qualified people are not ready to live in their own country. So their main causes are based on the two factors. So two factors, if you see, push factor and pull factor, as we discussed already. Under the push factor, these are the points: no good proper research facilities or employment discrimination. So economically country is very low. So if they are planning, so for example, you consider yourself as an IT employee, okay, so you have a good knowledge, but according to your knowledge there is no proper good salary giving companies in our India. But if you are going to Canada, number of IT companies who is ready to offer beyond your expectation level of salary. So definitely, obviously, you will be living there only. So this is called the pull factors, attracting factors. So these are the reasons. So if these kind of things happened, so what will be the result? What is the final impact of the brain drain? So now we will see the positive effects. If the all good employees, all qualified people are moving away from our country, what are the good? So here, for example, being an Indian, you are very well qualified in one particular specific field, and you're going out of our country and you're going to earn a lot of good knowledge in the other country. Once if you're returned back to your original country India, then you will start your own business and you will develop and you will implement a lot of all whatever the learned things in other country, you will introduce everything in our country. In that way India will improve definitely. So people will send their money out of the country, money, so number of dollars of amount you will be receiving there in that country, that amount you will be sending to your home country people here. So your country will improve and we will be having a lot of socio-economical level status, definitely we will increase. But coming to the negative effects, so negative effects only, if you see, it is very more, it's too much of points we are going to discuss. The first one itself, all highly qualified educational people, for the they are not able to get a proper institution for their higher studies, so they are moving away. After once you qualified, you're not getting a proper job, so people are moving away. So once if you are not happy in your country for your local politics groups, so you have to move away from the country. If you're having some health issues, the medical advancement is not so good in our country, so you have to go away. So these are the major reasons, the negative impact of brain drain. So finally, what is the conclusion? So government should come up with a proper solution to control our country people to go away from our country to the other country, whatever. So what are the things we are supposed to do then finally? So whatever the things people are getting attracted, everything we should start implementing in our own country itself. So that is the one and only solution we can give to our country people. If we are having a proper medical facility, if we are having a good research centers or good companies, and safety wise, security wise, and environmental wise, everything, if we are very feel and comfortable, then why do we want to go away from our own country itself? So this is what the final conclusion. And one more important point, recently Indian government has approached the various well-known NRI means born in India but presently they are living in other countries, so they are called NRI, non-residential Indians. So we people approached various country NRI people, so to come back to our India to start their own business, and they are ready to offer a good job under the Ministry of Science and Technology. So in this way, somehow we can control the brain drain and we can get back our qualified Indians to our home country itself. Understand? So that's all, we are done with this lesson, and I want you to go through the lesson twice, thrice, and then use this video also for your reference. In the next video, I'll be giving you the questions and answers. Thank you, students.